But we have to get started somewhere, so we might as well get started with the brakes. That's what's happening on this episode of Featherstone Bicycles. We'll start with the front brake and start taking it apart. I've noticed right off the bat that the rubber shoes are pretty well worn on this. Most of the bikes I work on, actually the shoes are in pretty good shape, but these are pretty worn, so we'll probably have to replace those. Something to add to the list. Got the brake parts all taken apart here except for the lever part, and doing the caliper first, and then I'll do the lever afterwards and clean up the cable housings. Now I'm going to, after I've gotten most of the grease and grime off by hand, I'm now going to hit it up on the wire wheel. I've found in the past that if I just put these on the wire wheel completely dirty as they come off the bike, then the wire wheel gets all grimed up as well, and then it doesn't shine as nicely as it has, as nicely as it could. finished up the caliper on the wire wheel. Couple of things. Obviously, I didn't bother doing the actual brake shoe assembly because these are pretty well worn. This one's not too bad, but this one you can see is very uneven in all different ways. So that might have been rotated a couple different times. And I do have a good source for either new old stock of these or used old stock that are in a lot better shape. So we're just going to replace those. Got the rest of the hardware cleaned up. The only thing that I wasn't able to get on the wire wheel was inside the rings of this caliper spring. So I'm putting a little solvent on a Q-tip, getting in there as best I can. There's a lot of dirt, grease, and grime on these brakes over the years. Use a dry one to clean it off. And they're almost as good as new. Definitely the spring is still as good as new. So before I get into taking apart the lever, I'm going to put the caliper back together, and I'm using the back as a guide in case I have forgotten. I've done enough of these that I should remember how it goes, but if you have another one handy, why not use it? The liver parts are all cleaned up now for the back brake, and ready to put this back together again using the front one as a guide. just to give you a visual, I meant to do this before, that here's what the front brake looks like unrestored, and here's what our restored one looks like. So quite a bit of difference. So this goes on here, then that bushing. Alright, we've got all of our brake parts cleaned, taken apart, cleaned, put back together. I'm going to take the brake shoes into the bike shop, see if I know I can get replacements for those. I'm also going to take the little front emblem in that had the Weinmann, I think it's Weinmann, Schwinn approved, made in Germany. There was only one on the front brake. There wasn't any on the back brake. And the one on the front brake was kind of damaged. So see if they've got a couple more of those laying around. And this piece of cable as well, because of this damaged part here. Cable housing, I should say. Of course, I need brand new brake cables, which is easy to source. That's going to do it for this episode. Remember to check out the link for the podcast, An Army of Normal Folks. I think you'll enjoy that. And thanks for sticking with me. Hope to see you next time on Featherstone Bicycles.